So I came across a story recently, and some of you might have heard of it. It was these two young girls who were at school during the Pride Month period, which is for LGBT, and they shared their views on homosexuality, and they were expelled or suspended from school. 10-year-old girls, for their views on homosexuality, and they come from Christian backgrounds. I find this whole thing disturbing because of what the little girl said. She said, I didn't know what homophobia or homophobic was until this whole situation. This girl is a star student, meaning that she is a good child, right? Never had a problem in school before, but gets expelled because of the agenda of the LGBT community right now that is so vigorous and strong. It will destroy anything and anyone that gets in its way. A 10-year-old girl has to go through this whole thing. Think about it, 10 years old. Go through this whole process of losing precious time at school, being expelled, interviewed because she has a view that is contrary to the LGBTQ agenda at the moment. Right, this is a secret way, or what they're trying to do is silence the voice of Christians right now. You have to wake up. I'm being serious, guys. We have to wake up. How does a 10-year-old? She says she don't even know what homophobic was until this whole situation, and that is supposed to be the case. Why should little children have to engage in certain conversations? Why should they have to know certain words? They are innocent. There needs to be a point where children are just children, where they just play. They don't know any situation. They don't know anything. But the fact that they woke up and they want to play and eat. But now they are being exposed to languages and theories that has nothing to do with a child. I was in New York during the month of June, and obviously that's the Pride Month. And I was actually in church at the city during the Pride March, which was on a Sunday, and the church was in the city, so it's literally was next to where the Pride Parade was going on. And I came out. Luckily for me, my sister-in-law was doing something in church, so the children got to stay in a little bit longer in church while I came out, waiting for her. And as I was standing out there with my family, my children could have been with me. All the people that were walking for the Pride Parade were walking, and a guy comes out. This is just one specific situation. A guy comes out. Meanwhile, mind you, there are children. People have brought their children to the Pride March. And a guy comes out and he's wearing a white blazer. I will never forget this moment in my life. White blazer, a thong. So a thong, but he's cut the penis out. Where to also say his penis was hanging out. I got an instant headache. And I thought to myself that if this was any time, we are losing our mind. This is broad daylight. It was like 3:00 in the afternoon, broad daylight. People have their children in the city, and you have people, in the sake of liberating the LGBTQ community, that you would oppress other people, the entire nation, the community. You would subject people to harm's way in the name of the LGBTQ community. Do you understand what I'm saying? It makes no sense. This guy's Willie was out laughing and joking, and his partner had like a bondage. So the same thing with him, the white blazer, but a bondage stripe PVC costume. So his bum cheeks were out and everything, no trousers, no nothing. I had an instant headache. And I thought to myself, my children could have seen this. Other people's children that just come out in daylight could have seen this. We don't take our children to the nightclub because we think it is inappropriate for children to be at a nightclub. But then you, in the name of the LGBTQ community, can do anything and be anyhow when it's indecent. Are we losing our minds? Do you understand what I'm saying? This whole thing, equality, is not equality if another set of people have to be oppressed for you to be free. That is not equality. Let me tell this to every UK government. Let me tell this to everybody in the LGBTQ community. This isn't right. And what they're trying to do is silence Christians. I was speaking to somebody else again, and they were saying, they were part of and they're a Christian in a workplace, and during the Pride Month they had to go out and do so many things for the Pride community because they were too this is it, they're too afraid to say that they don't actually want to do it because they don't want to lose their job. This isn't right. If you speak out there against the LGBT community, you get sacked. You get put on disciplinary. This isn't right, guys. I should be able to stand by my views, and you don't do this to any other community. If a Muslim came and said to you, I don't believe in homosexuality, you would just accept it, that that's what they think because that's what their religion tells them to think. But you want to condemn them for it. This is literally a persecution, the persecution of Christianity and Christians in the UK. It is literally a 10-year-old being excluded from school because of the fact that she doesn't have the views that claps and supports LGBT. 10 years old, a good student. We have to get up and wake up. From next year, I was speaking to another friend. What are all the Christians going to do who have their children in school, and now they are beginning to teach children as young as 5 years old, right, about LGBTQ families and LGBT from as young as 5 years old, and you don't have the right to take your child out and say, no, I don't actually think this is age appropriate for my child, and I don't want them to have this in conversation. Do you understand what I'm saying? If for me, it just doesn't add up. This whole thing is insane. And Christians, we have to stand up as one and start making noise. We have to support organizations who are making noise, like the Christian Concern, who are saying, no, we're not going to have this. This is persecution of Christians. There is Islamophobia. There is also needs to be some kind of word for Christianity, because they are trying to silence the Christian voice. We have to stand up. We can't just be silent. We can't accept it. We can't be in so much fear of persecution that we don't speak. And what I want from the UK government, from the UK communities, is to just even be, I'm afraid of persecution. Come and tell me that you don't want us. Tell us that Christians are not welcome. Tell us that you are persecuting us. Be bold enough to say that, no, Christians are no longer welcome in the United Kingdom. But don't persecute us. Don't try and silence us, right? And tell us that this is an equal nation for everybody. It is not. This